Folks, I'm serious about this. The buyer-seller relationship should not be contentious. It should not be you versus me. It should not be win, lose, lose, win. It should be friendly. It should be encouraging. It should be helpful. It should be a true partnership, even a relationship. I'm telling you, when things are going well, there's a little bit of love there. We're going to talk about relationships and selling next. Jason Reynolds and Chad Honaker on Purpose Under Pressure. Welcome back. My name's Bryan, and this is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about developing sales and leadership success on purpose and under pressure. It's brought to you by the professional sales and leadership training team at Sandler by the Ruby Group. You will find them in Akron and Columbus, Ohio. They're in Jacksonville, Florida. They're in Capital Region, New York. They serve clients and organizations across this great country. They do their work on purpose. And what that means is that you and your team can represent the way you want to represent. You can sell the way you want to sell. You can be the kind of company that you want to be, and you can help your customers the way you want to help them. You're not always responding to everything. You're always not trying to fix everything that's somehow got broken. You're doing things on purpose the way you want them done. That's why they're our sponsor. That's why we love Sandler by the Ruby Group. It's what they do. You can connect with them online at therubygroup.sandler.com. The Ruby Group, where sales, leadership, and purpose come together. So let's get cooking. Sales is people. I like people. I want to be a salesperson. We hear that all the time. Building people, building relationships. That's what salespeople do, at least the good salespeople. They invest in each other. They build each other up. They make each other better. They become partners. They buy from each other and sell to each other again and again. And I want to talk about that a little bit with a couple of people that I am just really glad that I have that kind of relationship with. Relationships that are strong, friendships that are strong are valuable. And we need to know when we have them, and we need to water them every once in a while. And I'm excited to introduce to you our guest today, Chad Honaker, the CEO at Ashtonne Packaging, and Jason Reynolds. He's a partner and trainer with said Ruby Group. Welcome, Chad and Jason, to Purpose Under Pressure.
Thanks, Bryan.
Howdy, Bryan.
Hey, Jason. Hi, Chad. It's great to see you guys. Real good to see you guys. And I'm excited for this conversation because I know you both have a lot in common. I know you always didn't know each other, but folks listening now and watching now aren't going to be able to tell the difference because you create the relationships the right way. Chad, real quick, if you would, can you tell me a little bit about Ashtonne Packaging and maybe kind of your mission there, what you guys do and what works well for you?
Sure. Yeah. So my partner, Dan Schlitt, and I started the company in 2007, primarily a specialty packaging products and services company. But you kind of mentioned it earlier. One of our strengths and why we've been successful for 19 years now, almost 19 years, has been our focus on the person involved with who we're dealing. So
that's right.
We've been fortunate enough to build a lot of great relationships. Certainly, where we make our money on the packaging and packaging services side, but we're successful because we've focused on the person in that relationship from day one.
How did you learn to do that? How did that become the way of doing business at Ashtonne Packaging?
Yeah, that's a good question, how we learned. I think Dan and I kind of migrated towards each other way back when. We were both doing separate things at the time, but both of us really had that general way of doing business and doing life even way back then. So I think from our standpoint, we migrated towards each other because we had the same values when it came to what was important, what we wanted to focus on, and how we wanted to spend our time, and what kind of organization we wanted to build around that.
Get to introducing Jason here in a second, but I'm interested, Chad, did you and Dan talk before you started the business, and did that come up? We want to be the kind of a business that does it this way, or did that just kind of happen because of who you both are?
Yeah, I think it more just happened. I think we were both kind of, even in what we were doing, we were focused on what's the rest of our career going to look like, and the environments we were in were both good environments. We both came from nice environments, but it gave us an opportunity to, when we started spending more time together, playing golf together, those types of things, you get to really understand who the person is. And I think it, not specifically stated as much as just kind of became who we were and how we were going forward together.
Yeah, it's cool. And I know you guys, and I know how you work, and I know that when the hurdles come and the pressures come, you fall back on who you are as people, and you handle problems that way, as opposed to trying to fix something or, put the round peg in the square hole. I mean, this is who we are. This is how we're going to do business. That's accurate, isn't it?
That's 100% accurate. Absolutely.
Jason, what the heck are you doing here? How are you, sir?
Doing well, Bryan. Yourself?
I'm good. So you're with Sandler by the Ruby Group. You're one of the trainers. You're a partner, and you work with Chad. How did you guys get together?
Yeah, so I think it was probably almost 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. I think they had reached out looking for some help in their business and wanted to get involved in Sandler. I think Dan and Chad knew of Sandler a little bit beforehand and wanted to see what it was going to take or what it was going to look like to be engaged with us. And here we are 3 years later with a successful relationship together.
And if you don't mind, Jason, tell me a little bit about the company that you found 3 years ago. They've been successful since, what did you say, Chad, 08? Is that right?
07.
07.
Yeah.
They've been doing things just fine. They ran into you, Sandler by the Ruby Group. Tell me a little bit about the way the company was then, maybe some hurdles or challenges they were trying to overcome. And tell me about that same company now, or at least the people that you work with there.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton, like it's common that we run into companies sometimes that they've grinded through or done a great job growing the company for years, and they're looking for edges. They're looking for just that next little thing that helps them get over the top, or helps them scale, or maybe just helps them look at things a little bit differently. Because as it goes, like Chad and Dan themselves, like wearing a lot of different hats. They got to be the salespeople, they got to be the ops guys, the accountants, you name it. They're in a ton of different roles. So I think they were looking at like, how do we just get better? How do we continue to grow? We're kind of stuck right now where we're at in a revenue standpoint. And how do we just keep growing with some utilization of tools and techniques? So they've come leaps and bounds as people and as the business in the last 3 years.
Does that sound right, Chad?
Yeah, it does. And I would also mention, Bryan, my recollection of how we ended up getting to Sandler, and first it was through Jason's partner, Mike, was your involvement with them, Bryan. I think we had that conversation around, do you know these? Dan knew of them, and then we talked to you about them. And I think we were, even when we hired Sandler, we were in a successful spot. Having said that, it actually was Dan's Dan, who comes from the sales side. It was his initial push, if you will, to bring somebody on that would sort of give us an outside view. It's easy to get stuck in the forest, right? And all you see are all the trees around you, and it's easy to also be having some success and not be pushing as much as you will. When times get lean, and now you focus on having the pipeline and the right pipeline, and you focus on having a monthly or every 2 week meeting to focus on those things. And then you get busy and things start going really well. And then maybe you slow down on some of that upfront sales requirements. If you do that, and then you hit a period of where things slow down, you can be in a tough spot. And I will say that there's ebbs and flows in business all the time. But early last year, we were rolling along pretty good. We've been working with Jason for a couple of years, and we had, through no issue of our own, just business changes, right? And that happens. And we had a fairly large customer that we ended up losing, and because of, I feel very strongly that Jason played a big part in us doubling down on efforts, doubling down on focus. Accountability is a big thing. As owners, Dan and I are certainly accountable to each other, but having a third party where we know we're going to have a meeting, we need to sit down there and talk about what's real. There's, it's not really it's not uncommon for that. You get in a process, in a rut, and you don't keep moving out of it. Having Jason there offering different views, and just us getting together on a consistent basis to talk about what's working, what isn't, what's our pipeline look like, what are we focused on. Those are very important things.
See, I think that's where things come right down to whether you're going to have a successful company or you're just going to kind of do business. What I mean by that is that when times get tough, we've got partners, we've got relationships, we've got people we can count on, or we don't. Like we could also have salespeople that are selling services and peddling stuff, and you buy this from this guy and you buy that from that guy. And if somebody lowers their price, you take the lower price, or the faster shipment or whatever it might be. Or you have relationships, deep relationships that when the going gets tough, you get together and you figure that out. And it sounds, Jason, like you're that kind of a person. And I know that that's what Sandler by the Ruby Group teaches. Can you tell me a little bit more about relationship and how you use that to help Ashtonne Packaging be the very best company they can be?
Well, I mean, I think it organically happens if you care enough about people and business. So, over a couple of years, if they're going through a struggle, like, you feel like you're part of the business too. So, I mean, you can tie it together, maybe untie it, but you're part of the business. You're helping them with their success. Like, you want to see them successful. That's why we do what we do at the Ruby Group. It isn't just the internal focus, like I'm making a sale and I'm getting the pocket money from doing something. Like, that's secondary to the real reasons. The real reasons are we want to see people grow. And if we see people grow, we see their businesses grow. And when problems come up like that, last year, what Chad's talking about, when that came up, like, you feel like you're a part of it. So you're trying to make good decisions and step away from the forest, help them see it, but also do good for the business too.
Jason, I know Chad's on the call, so you can't tell me all your secrets when it comes to sales. I'm kidding. I know you can't. But I'm interested in when you were establishing that relationship. When it's a cold call, you know me and Mike, and we kind of know each other, but Chad and Dan had not invested, I don't think, in a lot of sales training, and it was a significant expense and things of that sort. And you're kind of starting over, and they probably have a side eye on you, right? From Sandler's point of view or from Jason's point of view, how do you start the relationship the right way so that it goes down the right path, so that it ends up 3 years later as this mutually beneficial relationship that helps each other?
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect to have that relationship that deep right away either, right? I mean, it's a process to getting there. It just doesn't happen overnight. So, one of the processes we take everybody through is we do a 2-day Blitzkrieg boot camp of stuff that kind of lets them kind of see techniques and strategies and behaviors and attitudes around all the stuff that we do. That kind of warms them up to going, here's what we could take away. Forget the Ruby Group, forget Jason for a minute. Here's what we can take away from and actually help our processes and help our people. And I think over time that they see that it's deeper than that too. It isn't about Sandler. It's more about organizational change management and how we can help them with that.
Did you go to that boot camp, Chad?
I did, yes.
Can you tell me, can you remember? I bet you can. I remember mine, and mine was like 15 years ago. I can remember mine like it was yesterday. Tell me your recollections of it.
Yeah, no, it was a good experience. I went through it with who at the time our director of sales. So, and you mentioned, the side eye. Honestly, Dan was the impetus behind it, and the side eye was probably coming more from me.
I bet I've seen that side eye, Chad.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Who is this guy, and what is he trying to do?
Yeah, well, understand that we're in the packaging world now, but I come from the accounting side. That's all I was trained. So
yeah,
we're when you're doing, and I can say that I said it earlier that when you hire, we brought them on when we were doing well, and I'm thankful for it now. But when you're bringing on sales training, when we're in our own right here, pretty successful with what we're doing, and we started a company from zero, and the sales are going pretty well. Why do we need this? What I'll say is that getting everybody was sort of selling in their own buckets a little bit. We had the same common, we want to serve the customer, we want to serve the person, we want to be human about this, but how we went about it and how we would go at attacking new opportunities between our director of sales, between Dan, between I was different. And even we have a bunch of independent reps around the country that work for us, and they'll work through our staff, and everybody had it, everything was a little bit disjointed. So having the Sandler training and having that mantra be sort of a common way that we attack the business. The boot camp was really helpful. They do a lot of other things outside of training with some personality, just trying to understand how through it's the DISC. I don't know what you call it, Jason.
DISC profile.
The DISC training.
Sorry, I stepped in for you, Jason. Sorry, that's my Sandler training jumping in.
Yeah. Which was very helpful to realize both where my strengths and Dan's strengths lie, where our weaknesses lie, more importantly. and all the folks that are working for us and what they're doing, and just making sure we're cognizant of how people are interpreting different situations and what their first reaction to certain situations will be. Um, and that collectively with what we were able to then take forward um, was really helpful. And I will say, just as it's in my mind now, it's not even really related, but we've taken the next step where we're now into a spot where we're going to go and add to our staff, both from maybe a customer service and a sales side. And we have included Jason in those conversations. It's not,
Wow.
Jason has become a trusted, um, I guess advisor is the right word. We talk in a sales term, but we had an hour meeting last Friday, and it wasn't even focused on the sales side at this point. It's talking what's he seeing in the market, how are other people hiring these type of people, what are they looking for, how are they going about it, and so just having that person from the outside be able to offer that additional knowledge is and insight it's helpful, and it's very valuable.
So I'm thinking of people that are watching or listening to the show that are not sales trainers, but they are salespeople. This is the kind of relationship that you want to build with your customers. You want to build the kind of relationship where they're asking you for things that maybe you don't even normally do. They're not on the menu, but if you can help, you do. Maybe you add them to the menu, but there are ways that you can help, that you can kind of not take advantage, but benefit. Everybody benefits from
Right.
that relationship that moves forward. Jason, when you get a call from Chad saying, "Hey, man, can you help me with this?" Is it, no, that's not part of our deal, or is it, man, I just can't wait to help you?
Everyone in the organization needs to know how to sell. Sales is the strength of any company. Whether or not you're in marketing, operations, or even finance, everyone has a strong shared accountability towards driving top-line revenue. Whether or not you're client-facing or talking over the phone, you're able to build a stronger level of rapport with the clients. Everyone in the organization shares that responsibility to know how to sell.
Jason, when you get a call from Chad saying, "Hey, man, can you help me with this?" Is it, no, that's not part of our deal, or is it, man, I just can't wait to help you?
Yeah, I don't even think that's even a question in my mind if he
I know.
calls or texts me. So it's like that's what we try to help people understand too. Like there are levels to sales and what you're trying to offer people, and a lot of those things that you're offering are sometimes just that initial offering that you have from a product and service standpoint. But when you can go above that and stop being just a vendor or a partner, and you can get to that trusted advisor level with people, like you start to see the whole picture. Then you're looking out of a big screen TV with them instead of a 13-inch screen TV with them. So that's the overall always goal, is what can you do to see it from outside of that lens, and what can you keep building with them together.
I'm interested in this sounds like a big bro fest. Like we're all in love with each other. I think that's pretty cool. But I'm interested in the way your meetings go, because we just had, I think it was last week. I'm not exactly sure, but we had Tom Tone from Ruby Group talking about the upfront contract, and the upfront contract is this is how much time we have. I love it, but it's very locked down. That's why they call it a contract. When you guys get together, is it more fluid? Is it more friendly? Do we waste time talking about sports and fishing and other things? Or how do you turn a relationship into a business relationship and vice versa and make it all come out at the end?
I will say something, Jason. I'll let you go first. I don't think that if we're talking about golf and we're talking about fishing, it's wasted time.
Good.
I think that's probably why Jason and I, we play golf several times together, and I think having those conversations is what partially builds a relationship. The business part is very, very important, but if it's strict, there's a lot of relationships you have with people that are strictly business, and there's nothing else around it. And to me, those are much less impactful. That's my opinion. I would say our meetings are fluid. I'm not in any other Jason meetings, but they are fluid, and there's a lot of moving parts in Dan and I's head that we just like to vet out with, with Jason from time to time. And he, he gladly goes through that. At least from my standpoint, it's not tied to one certain agenda.
What do you think about that, Jason?
Well, I'll just say that it's definitely changed over time, and it's grown over time. I think if you date back when we first got together, there was probably a lot more stricter. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's where we can see you guys going based on what you brought to us, what you told us you want to do. So we stuck to more of a strict agenda for a while. And heck, I don't even think Chad and I knew that we loved golf as much as we did for the first few months. Like, that took a while to finally get there to going, oh, you're good at golf. We're good at golf. We love golf. Dan does too. Like, that took some time to get there. But after a while, you start to recognize, like, what's working for the group and the team. How are we collaborating together? What do we need to get out of this thing? And I look at myself as just kind of that coach and umpire in the middle going, I got to make sure they get something out of this. So I got to kind of redirect it if I think they get off course. But you sometimes got to let them go too, because they're thinking, well, I've created an environment, I hope, where they're opening up and sharing, and we're creative, we're coming up with better ideas, and then just tie it all together for them.
So, Jason, tell me though more about that, because the relationship is strong. You're golfing together. You're trusting each other. It's 3 years old. I mean, that's a major relationship. That's good stuff happening there. But when Chad screws up, right, the sale isn't going the right way, or his team isn't doing the right thing, are you able to push back and demand more? You're a coach. You're a trainer. They're counting on you to push them into new directions or to correct them when they need to. Are you still able to do that, or are you a little too close sometimes?
No, I think the level of closeness, as it gets closer, you can keep pushing back even more, right? Because I think they know that it's coming from the right place. It's coming from a place of, like, quote unquote love, and not like me just trying to get them to do something. So it's coming from the right place, and I think they know that. And I kind of probably planted that seed from the beginning and said, hey, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm trying to help you build your business and grow the business. So I think they know that. And there's never been a problem with that. They've been very open-minded. They've been very open to constructive feedback and then redirection as they were thinking things.
Chad, do you ever feel like he's pushing too hard?
No, not at all. And I think we, in an effort to make sure we're best utilizing the knowledge that he has, I think we, and again, I don't know how Jason's other meetings go, but if we're having a challenge, a question, a concern, a uncertainty as to how to attack a certain situation, or if a certain situation is not working out in the direction we want it to, we will try our best to bring it to Jason without any predisposed, maybe here's what we did and here's where we got. What do you think? I mean, if we were looking to hire somebody to, there's a lot of people that can come in and tell you, a yes man. It's not. Yeah, it's right. Not that we wanted a yes man. We want somebody to help us through the situation. But I will say, especially for myself, it's how that is delivered is important, because if it's delivered in a respectful, helpful, trusting manner versus a demeaning disrespect, it can be delivered. Criticism can be constructive or destructive, right? And constructive is very, very helpful. And I think in this situation, we've not had a situation ever where it was not constructive.
I think the way they've handled it, and that their mindset, their approach on wanting to learn and wanting to get better is what's crucial to this whole thing. I train people that right away they can be a little off-putted by the whole thing, or not sure what they're going to get out of it, especially as people have grown their sales or their businesses and they're just not sure. Maybe they're just stuck in their ways a little bit, and it takes them a little bit to get out of that mode. But when they're open-minded, like, people can go anywhere because they can see then something positive happening instead of like, what am I actually going to learn from this? And Chad, Dan, their whole team has done a great job in being open-minded around all of it.
They're a good team. That is no doubt about it. And I think you're a part of that team. Chad, I'm interested in, as we start to wrap up here, I'm interested in what's next. There's hurdles coming in packaging and shipping and logistics and warehousing. It's a wild, wild world out there in manufacturing and things like that. So there are hurdles coming. What hurdles are coming that Ashtonne Packaging really needs to stand up and go get? And little flip on that question. How are you better prepared to handle those specific things based on your relationship now with Jason and with Sandler by the Ruby Group?
Yeah, good question. And boy, I wish I could predict exactly exactly what was coming. Right, that would be very helpful. We are coming off of one of our best years in recent history. Maybe not ever, but one of our best years in a while. And we've started off this year very, very strong. And we're very thankful for that. One of the challenges that we're dealing with right now is that we need to expand our team and make it stronger. Historically, and this is me giving the side eye to a certain process again, is we haven't been great at bringing on at hiring, whether it's new salespeople or new project manager, customer service representative type people, and really doing a good job of training them through the process and helping them really get ready to grow. So from our standpoint, what we're focused on right now is developing and expanding our staff to be able to make us better able to serve our current customers and better able to serve any potential customers that are coming around the corner, which again, it's a bro fest. So I'll say it, Bryan, the work you're doing is helping us, is bringing new opportunities to us through digital means so it's not even a sales person involved. It comes through Dan, but we're getting new opportunities that we need to amp our staff to be able to best serve them and win how we win, which is by really making sure we're focused on their needs and we're focused on serving those. So how that's going to work is Jason is going to assist us as we're putting some of these ads or whatever you want to call them. They're not really ads anymore, but where you put it out there where you're looking to hire, trying to hire new employees. Jason will help us with some of those words. So we'll explain to him what we're looking for, and he'll help us massage it based upon what he sees as a successful direction. And then two, we will bring these people into Sandler, almost immediately. So from a training standpoint, Jason will be able to help us train those people, or at least one of those people, so that we're able to really make sure that they're looking at the same set of goals that we are. Smaller companies like ours don't have extensive training programs. We just
That's
don't.
right.
That's we have a lot of strengths, but that is not one of our strengths. So having Jason be able to do that, bring him into what we're already sort of doing collectively as a group. We're encouraged. I mean, we're excited about what the future holds. Obviously, there's a lot of, in the macro economy, there's a lot of flux and constant changes and how are we reacting to things. But in our bubble, we're not immune to the macro, but in our bubble, we're going to keep trying to get better and get better.
Jason, what are you most proud of? Chad just mentioned our relationship and how he's thankful that I'm able to help him. And I'm telling you, that makes me feel good. Like I'll tell my wife, wow, that's working. I'm really excited. What are you most proud of? What do you pat yourself on the back a little bit when you look at Ashtonne Packaging? You look at them 3 years ago, you look at them now. You know what they're up against next. What are you excited that they are now equipped to handle based on some of the things that perhaps they've learned through you and through Sandler by the Ruby Group?
Yeah, it's another good question, Bryan. I think it's just progress over perfection with them. They got the mindset to continue to drive forward, to move forward, to look at things a little bit differently, to be willing to take a risk and know that they've got other pieces to the puzzle together to go on. We can take this risk. We feel better about taking this risk, having me on board or other people on board, and just seeing them willing to take that risk and keep moving forward is pretty cool to see.
That's awesome. Chad, how do people find you if they need to learn more about Ashtonne Packaging, or if they want to hear what you think about Sandler by the Ruby Group, looking for a referral, something like that? Although I think we know by now what you're going to say, but how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, generally speaking, it would be through our Ashtonne.com website would be the easiest way to do it. And there's all kinds of forms to fill out on there if you need us to get back in touch with you. And I'm pretty sure all of my direct information, if it's me specifically, is is in several different several different spots on there. So that would be my direction.
Great. And we already let everybody know where they can find you, Jason. But thank you very much for bringing Chad on to the team, bringing him on to the show here with us. And thank you both for joining us on Purpose Under Pressure.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks, Bryan.
So, folks, before you run away, I want to remind you this was a bro fest. This was a lot of love. This was, I know Chad and I know Jason. Jason knows Chad. We all know each other. But that's what this show is about. We respect each other because we're sellers and we're buyers and we treat each other the right way. And if you are an organization leader or you're a salesperson and you're not developing that relationship or you're not seeing your team develop that relationship, that's a problem. It can't always be that way. But that's the goal. That's what we want. We want BroFest. We want to be able to hold people accountable, but we want to love each other and really spend time together and be a part of each other's success. And that's what this show is all about. I think that's what Sandler by the Ruby Group is all about. So that's what this show is about too. So thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We do it every week. And if you like it, you're back. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you won't miss another show. Tell a friend so they can be on purpose too. You'll find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at bryanmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. It's brought to you by the Ruby Group. Until next time, no matter how high the pressure gets, do me a favor, stay on purpose.